Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is a long time coming. Actually, this just happened. Everything in my life completely changed within a 4-day time frame. So I just came on here to explain to you what's going on and how I keep my positivity straight in this time of being in between homes. I just can't believe that I'm in this position, but I also am thankful for the position that I'm in as well. So if you guys want to show support, don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. It's going to be a really crazy journey that I'm on, because at this point I don't have a place to call my own. I don't have a home right now. I have places that I'm staying. I'm thankful that I have family that have offered up their space to me, but it could have been really harsh. I could have been in my car. I could have been in a completely different position, but luckily I have some really great and amazing people on my side, you know. So shout out to all my family that were here when I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna move in my car, and they were like, absolutely not. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna be getting ready. I have a baby sprinkle and choir rehearsal in a couple hours, so I'm just doing my makeup. And I figured this is like the calmest way for me to sit down and share with you guys what's going on in my personal life. As you can see, my background's different. I don't have my fancy vanity, so videos are gonna just look different. My content is just gonna look different, and hopefully people will understand that I'm a normal person going through normal things, and hopefully that people will realize that not all influencers are rich bucos of money in their bank. You know, it's just I'm in a really weird, awkward position in my life at 30 years old. I've always been secure, and this is the first time where I feel like I am kind of out of control. But I'm gonna get into that right after I take this chicken out the oven. I'm back. So let's get my makeup started really quick. Everything is all over the place. I think the hardest part about not being in my own home is like I don't know where anything is. I'm going off of what I think I remember where everything is, so that's a little frustrating. So I'm gonna be looking this way because this is where the mirror is, so if I'm not looking directly in the camera, don't be offended. Basically, I made a very last minute decision that I needed to leave my apartment. So just for clarity, I've been living in the same apartment for 4 long, hard years. You know, started from nothing. I moved from my dad's house into this new place with a roommate before, or whatever. So I moved into this new place to kind of get away from my dad. Obviously, like, you get old, you don't want to be around your parents, so you like move on with your life, and you're like, okay, like I'm going to create a life for myself. And that's what I did. I didn't have a couch, I didn't have a TV, I just had my bed. You know, I had my bedroom set from when I was in my parents' home, but I didn't have anything. I didn't even have pots and pans, toilet paper, I had nothing. And I, you know, built this place up. You know, I made it as homey as I could. I knew it wasn't gonna be a forever situation, so I didn't put my all into making it feel too homey, because I didn't want to get comfortable in that situation, knowing that that's not where I wanted to be, and that's not the happiest place that I could be in that moment anyway. So I kept thinking, you know, within a couple of years I was going to be out of that place, and 1 year turned into 4 years before my eyes. And I honestly felt like I was proud of, you know, everything I've created. You know, it's fully furnished now with the help of like I had a housewarming, so a lot of my friends like got me my toaster, my broom. Like I literally had nothing, and you know, a lot of my friends stepped up for me and got me a lot of cool things. So yeah, I did the best that I could for 4 years. I just decorated the bathroom with pictures. I just started thinking about how I could decorate the place. I just bought a new couch, what, like a month or 2 ago. So, you know, I really was like, you know what, I'm gonna make the best of my situation, because prior to COVID-19, my plan was to move to California. I was lucky enough to have a job where it was okay for me to move as long as I was within you know, an area that I could. So I was already planning on moving because I just wanted to be with like-minded people. I like slow pace. I don't like New York that much because of the fast pace. It's very difficult for me to get comfortable in New York because I don't ever feel like I've ever fit in here. Even my friend Michelle, we were just talking about it. I was just like, why are we rushing around the grocery store? And she's like, I don't know, it's just how I am. And it's like, no, that's like how New Yorkers are. Like, I'm not gonna like drive my car 100 miles an hour just to get anywhere. Like, I don't need to be in a rush, and I want to be in a place where I not fit in, because I don't know if I'll ever fit in anywhere that I go, but I do want to be in a different, softer paced town. So I always thought that California would be it for me, but then that fell through when COVID-19 happened, so I ended up paying the rent there by myself because my roommate at the time decided to leave me on a whim, which most of you know. So I've been taking care of this apartment, and then you know, obviously, you know, roommates change, things change, situations change, but I've been consistently there. But the reason why I decided to leave was because my safety, I didn't feel safe. I was very unhappy, first of all, because my wants and needs were not being thought of. Like, I would say that I would have a problem with multiple things, and it was just like what I felt, what I wanted, it was completely disregarded, and it would be like thought about in the moment, but then after that it would just keep happening and happening and happening. So I got into a position where I already kind of knew that being back in this position was not going to be good for me. I didn't want to be here stuck for another year. So in my mind, I already kind of had an idea that, you know, come next year I was gonna find my own place and figure it out on my own. But then a situation happened that was really unsafe for me. I didn't feel safe. I don't do fighting, I don't do arguing, I don't do threats. So I got into like a really weird threatening situation, and I just, when that whole situation was happening, and I'm not going to go into details because I don't believe in like gossiping and spreading things, and you know, I don't want people to feel bad or look bad or anything. I got to the point where I was like, I have to get out of here. So literally the same night I decided to move out, or the next morning I actually did move out. That night I decided, the next morning I got U-Haul boxes and I was just out, because I was already depressed. I was already unhappy. I was already unhappy with the fact that even though I kept expressing how I felt about certain situations, things were not changing. So I already had one foot out the door, but then I got disrespected, called out my name, yelled at, and I'm such a nice person. I don't even like fight. Like, I'm not even that person. I would rather, I'll let you yell at me and I'll walk away from the situation. You can call me whatever you want, but I'm not gonna put my hands on you. Like, I'm not that person. So I chose me. I chose my peace, because you're not gonna make me feel unsafe in my own place. And as I said before, prior to, I worked my way up to that apartment. I started with nothing. So since I can't even find peace in my own place that I built up, like literally every single piece of furniture that is in there belongs to me. And I just was like, you know what, since I can't find peace, I'm gonna choose me and I'm gonna leave the situation. And that's exactly what I did. I, you know, reached out to my friends and a couple of family members, and graciously, you know, my father allowed me to stay here for a little bit while the situation settles down. But I don't ever plan on coming back, because I was disrespected for a whole year. And it starts to mess with you, because it's like, dang, like people genuinely just don't care about how you feel or what you want. So many people in this world is selfish, and you would even think like the people closest to you would care about what you're going through and how you feel. They don't, when it doesn't, you know, make them happy with what they want. So after coming to that conclusion that I just was not an important factor in the situation, leaving was the best decision. So now I'm in a place where at least I'm not stuck in a lease where I'm unhappy. You know, there's always bright sides to everything in life, and I chose me. Like, I chose to go and figure it out for myself, what I want to do. And at this point, because I quit my job, finding proof of income, super duper difficult, because I do social media. I just quit my job in January. So for me to find a new place is gonna be a very difficult thing for me, because I don't have any proof of anything. So it's just been very scary to know that you can have everything together one minute and then the next minute everything around you fall apart. I never thought in a million years that I would be so unprepared for what was next. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always so prepared and prepped, but like as a learning experience, you have to remember, like, not everybody's gonna care about what you have going on and what you want and what you need. Some people are really gonna do what they want regardless. and it's up to you to choose like what you want. And the sad part about the situation is that I didn't just do it the first time it happened. This happened so much that I just started to ignore the situation. I was just like, you know what, just a little bit more time, I'll handle it. But this, when your safety isn't like, when you feel like you're not in a safe place, like I only have so much to my name. I could care less about my clothes, I could care less about my apartment, I could care less about furniture, but like my cameras are like my passion, my lenses, my laptop. Like if anything were to happen to those things, I don't know if I wouldn't even know what I would do. So I literally, that night that the situation happened, I packed up just my laptop and my cameras. I was like, these are the most important things that I have, and I refuse to lose these things. So I protected. I literally, the whole house could burn down, but as long as I have my laptop and my cameras, I could care less about the rest of it. So I wasn't really attached, you know. I thank God I've learned that material is just material, you know what I mean? I can always work hard to get those things back. I can get a new couch, I can get a new everything, you know what I mean? Heck, I can even get a new camera, you know? So I'm just happy that I got what I needed out, and luckily I got all my clothes out. Vanity I left because I just don't have a place to put it. I could get storage, but I don't want to waste the money on storage for just that. Yeah, I basically just left, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna get into it because half of the information's none of my business. Like, I just was caught in crossfire for the most part, and I'm not even mad. I'm very forgiving about the situation. I don't care about the situation anymore. I just know that for me and my mental health, I had to get out of there. You know, I knew that I was unhappy, I was depressed, I was laying on the couch for a really long time, just trying to figure out like, why am I not motivated? Like, what's going on? And it was because I was in a place where I was not being respected, and it bothered me. And for the longest time, my friends knew, and I just didn't say anything, because how many times do you tell someone how you feel and they just completely ignore you? So I just stopped caring. I just got to the point where I was just like, I don't care anymore. I'll just leave when the lease is over. But now I ended up leaving I moved out of that place. It took me 3 days, but it took me like maybe 8 hours. When you're done, or when I felt so unsafe, like I had to bring my cousin to like just come with me so I could just feel comfortable. I just didn't know what I was walking into. Like, I had no trust, no faith in anything in that apartment. I was in run mode. Like, you know, when there's fight and flight, I was in flight mode. I don't even want to go back now. Like, I'm sure there's so many things that I left that I could have, that I could use. I don't even want it, because my mental space is so much more important than anything that money can buy me. So I'll never go back. And I know I'm laughing about it, and it's just because I don't have any more tears to cry about the situation. You know, I know that I'm a good person. I know that I did the best that I could in that situation that I was in, and even though I was constantly ignored and my needs were not met, I know that I was with an integrity in the situation. And because I do feel like I was with integrity, I can laugh about the situation, because it would hurt me more if I was the one that created the chaos for someone. I could never live with myself knowing that I made someone so unhappy that I ran them out. Like, I just couldn't do it. But I'm so forgiving of the situation. I forgive the people involved. I forgive everyone. Like, I'm not mad about it. Like, this is not like no hate video. I love the people involved in the situation. It just is what it is. But like, I can get really depressed and deep fast. I can get into a wormhole where I'm stuck and I'm depressed, and I don't want to be depressed when the situations that I'm being involved in have absolutely nothing to do with me. So that's where I'm at, and now I'm just hoping that everybody else can find peace in the situation. And because my family is involved, unfortunately my father is involved. He knows because I'm staying with him. So for him, I think that he's very disappointed in the situation, but luckily, you know, he's not trying to force me to go back to like an uncomfortable situation. He completely understands where I'm coming from and why I made the decision to do what I did. So that makes me feel really super happy and confident in the decision that I made. And even if he didn't like want me to be here or whatever the case is, I would have figured it out, you know what I mean? But I choose my peace, and being by myself and being in my own space provided peace for me. So that's basically what happened. I'm gonna put on lashes. I'm not used to doing my makeup on the floor, so I'm gonna have to work out and do some like hip flexor exercises and I gotta get my body right, y'all. I really gotta get my body right. But yeah, I'm super duper excited for the future. I'm not looking back or forwards, you know. I've had a conversation with the people with a person that this involved, and they're sorry about the situation, but sometimes getting sorry over and over again is just not enough, you know. It makes you feel like, no, you're not telling me the truth. Like, you don't genuinely care about how I feel at all, you know. And I think this came to a huge shock to everyone. So if there's any like word of advice I can give to anybody who's watched this whole video all the way through, never stick around where you're not being heard. Don't be that person that be like, yeah, well, if you don't do this, I'm gonna leave, and then not leave. Because I'm telling you right now, people will take advantage of your shit and your life and everything that you created if it helps them. I had to stretch out my leg. Oh, it feels so much better. My foot is like asleep. But yeah, don't allow anybody to take advantage of your happiness, your kindness. You know, if you see that what's going on isn't like what you want, dip, bro. Don't be afraid. Like, there's so many places and people that will help you. And if there's one thing that I've learned is like there's so many people willing to help, and I didn't even know. I literally went my whole life thinking like, I'm not gonna ask anybody for help. And I think that's why people are so gracious to help me too, is because I don't ask for much in my regular life. You know, I'm very much to myself. I don't want to be a burden to anybody. You know, they know that if I'm gonna ask you for a favor, it's because I really, really need a favor. It doesn't happen often for me where I need someone. So I think in this situation, because people know that about me, they're so open to, you know, help me with open arms. And even my best friend, her sister, I'm close to her, and she's like, look, like, there's no way we were not gonna be willing to help you throughout the situation. Like, you mean so much to us, and you just have a kind soul. Like, you're a good person, and sometimes your character can do so much for you and can save you in the long run. Like, sometimes just having a kind heart and people knowing you have a kind heart can get you so far in life. And it's not gonna be in the way that you really expect it. It's gonna be in the ways that you least expect it. Because I would have never thought in a million years that so many people would have offered to let me stay with them. You know what I mean? Like, obviously my mom and my dad, they probably would feel weird to be like, no, you can't. And I told my dad, he's about so sick to his stomach with this, but he's so annoyed because I keep saying, thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much. And he's like, if you don't stop saying thank you to me, like, what do you think I was gonna say? You know what I mean? Like, he understands the situation, and he's sick and tired of all the thank yous. But I'm so grateful and honored that people are willing to, you know, go that extra mile to make sure I'm okay. It's just, you don't have to. Like, there's so many parents out here that leave their kids, you know, and they don't care what the situation is. They're gonna do what they want to do, and if they don't want them in their house, they don't want them in their house. So I understand how lucky I am. So I keep telling him I'm so thankful. I like cleaned the whole house, or I tried. I'm still not done. There's a lot of work to be had here, but you know, I cooked dinner today just so like I can at least help out the way that I can for now. Because when you're with your parents, they want you to kind of save your money, you know. He's not trying to make money off of me or anything like that. He's just like, yo, figure out whatever your next move is and go on from there. And that's what I plan on doing. I plan on moving. The next place that I move is going to be somewhere that I see for life. I might have to get a job. You guys know I just quit my job in January to pursue this, but I might have to get a regular job just to get an apartment, and then once I'm settled in, I can do whatever I need to do. I just never saw myself in this position, but I honestly feel like God gave me what I asked for. It might not look like what I asked for, but a part of me feels happier that I left and I'm insecure with what's happening than to be in a position where I'm secure, but my energy is violated. I'm unhappy. People don't care about what I feel. You know, people, you know, do what they want to do and do what makes them happy. And even just like with everything, like, oh, I just can't, like, I don't even want to get into like it because there's going to be people who know who I'm talking about, but like, it was just like so annoying. I would ask for the smallest, simplest request. Like the smallest, simplest request. For example, like let's say, and this is not even a real example, but let's say someone you know or you're with smokes cigarettes. You would just say, hey, you could smoke, but like, can you smoke outside? Whatever. That's a simple request, right? And it wasn't a lot of requests. There were only like 2 simple requests that I asked. And I couldn't get those 2 requests for a year. So I just was like, you know what? Do what's best for you, baby. I'll do what's best for me. There's no hard feelings, of course. I'm a Christian woman. I'm very forgiving. It is what it is. Like, I don't care to just, because if I would have stayed, all that's doing is make everyone else more comfortable. You know, of course, yeah, I would have like a more stable environment, but then I would have to feel uncomfortable all the time. I don't feel safe. I didn't feel happy, you know? So it's like, what am I paying rent somewhere where I'm not happy? I don't get it. I've been dealing with this for a year. It was a year of drama. And it's just like, I don't want to deal with this crap. Choose you guys. Like, always choose yourself. I just poked myself in the eye. Poked myself in the eye. My lashes. Choose yourself. Like, even if, don't choose stability. Choose happiness, because at the end of the day, anything can happen. Like, I could literally go back and then something tomorrow, the end of the world could happen. And it's like, why was I in this unhappy position this whole time? If I would have known the world was gonna end, I would have did things differently, you know? And I was just like, no, like, I'm doing this different. I've been around this sort of thing my whole life. I've seen people be unhappy and argue and fight and do all this craziness in my childhood, and I don't want to see it again. I don't want to be around it. And as an adult, even in my own personal relationships, if I ever meet a guy, I'm not gonna do that crazy fighting, arguing nonsense in my life. I'm not doing it. When you have gone through stuff in your childhood and there's trauma and therapy that you had to go through because of the little things that you've seen, no, you gotta put your foot down and be like, nah, at the end of the day, this isn't it for me. This isn't working for me. And I'm an adult, so I'm gonna make an adult move and just move on with my life. You know, I luckily, like, leases are binding, so for me, I'm still up in the air about how that's even gonna work, but it's just so scary to think that people stay in situations that make them uncomfortable or unhappy. I would never suggest that for anybody. Please, 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 like, if you're in like a crazy situation where you don't feel safe, you don't feel happy, you're not feeling heard, just get up and leave and deal with the consequences later. Like, yeah, maybe, oh god, I got glue on my pants. Maybe they'll sue you for the rest of the rent. Okay, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? Like, maybe, you know, but, you know, make sure you do what you have to do for your happiness. I'd rather pay the money and just figure it out later. I just couldn't manage. I just couldn't manage, and I ran for my life. I ran for my happiness. I ran for my mental health. I cried for hours, and I'm not gonna cry over fucking people who don't give a fuck about me. All right, I love you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this sit down video. I know it was really fast paced, and I know I left out a lot, but honestly, the details don't matter. Just know that you're about to see more content than you ever had before. It's gonna be probably the most unorganized, non-aesthetic-y content in the history of the world, but you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here to do whatever it takes to fulfill my dreams. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. So do you want me to? Want me to? So do you want